Hey Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. I still cannot find my blue hat. So, if anyone knows where my blue hat is, please let me know. Of course, you wouldn't know where it is unless you knew where I lived. I gotta get like one of those tile things for my hats. I'm a loser. I lose things. Not that type of loser. I'm just a loser who lose things. Excellent. Anyways, we got a great show today. I'm very excited for this guest. You've seen her in the Umbrella Academy. You've seen her in the movie Escape the Fields. She had a new movie that just came out, which I want to make sure I get that right. Dead Man's Wire, which I was actually on the verge of going to see, and I didn't get a chance to. But the great Jordan Claire Robbins is going to be here via Zoom. So subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and enjoy Reza Rifts with Jordan Claire Robbins coming up next.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hi, Jordan Claire
Oh, I'm
Robbins.
so sorry. I'm a little late here. I'm back in my childhood home and there's a lot going on, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to meet you.
Ah, well, it's over Zoom, right? So we could say we met, but
Yeah, we still
so
gotta be in person. Yeah.
yeah, maybe I'll audition for one of your movies and I'll be like a character in it, and then we can meet.
I would be honored. That sounds
Oh,
amazing. Let's make it happen.
let's do it. I'm the worst auditioner in the world, though, Jordan. Like
Are
I'm really.
you?
Oh yeah, I'm
You
really
know, I
bad.
don't think any of us are really great at auditioning. It kind of just isn't what you
Yeah.
gotta do. It's not fun.
I miss the days where it was like I guess ever since the pandemic I kind of gave up being an actor because like I miss the days of going to the audition room and with the
Yeah.
producers and the energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, I do. I know exactly what you mean. It's
Uh,
weird that we're never going back there, it seems.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah,
So,
it's a shame.
yeah. So like someone has to go see me do stand-up comedy and be like, "Hey, I want to put you in a movie." That's
Well,
my
that's a
new.
great way. That's a great way to like shine your light, though. I mean, like making people laugh. Stand up is, to me, the bravest thing that one can do. So props to you.
Oh, really? I think singing is, and you do singing.
I do sing, but isn't that funny how one person, might find something completely, comfortable and fun, and another finds that terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, before we go into the acting, modeling,
Yeah.
let's talk about the singing. Like, how long have you been singing, and like, do you get nervous when you do it, or?
I've been singing always. I think just as a kid, I was like that obnoxious kid that would like force my family to sit and watch me sing and dance for hours and hours and hours on end. And then in high school, like I mean, I studied. I was classically trained in singing, flute, piano. I was very much the music kid.
Yeah.
And then that became musical theater, and then the curiosity around film and TV. And now I'll just sort of hop up and do an open mic, or if I can sit down on my piano and doodle around a little bit. I'd like to do more. I would really love to play more roles that allow me to bridge the two.
Yeah. You should write something like that. That'd be cool.
I should write something like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely percolating. It's been percolating for a while.
Yeah. So, like, have you ever wanted to like release an album, like Jordan's hits or something?
Jordan said, no pressure, just every single one has to be a hit. Um, I mean, I don't think that is necessarily for me at this point in time. I have friends that are incredible singer-songwriters. I wrote a
Yeah.
song with a friend of mine, John Bryant, recently. He's amazing, and we did a duet, and it was really cool to see his process. And I mean, songwriting, I think it's a muscle like learning lines. You do it, and you kind of force yourself to start the process enough where you have that muscle that's active enough that you're doing it more easily. But I don't know. I think it just seeing how much goes into it, I think I would have to be like really dedicating that as the focus.
Yeah, definitely. I was always thinking like you know like Elvis or Meatloaf or whatever or Michael Jackson, they have these greatest hits.
Hmm.
Has anyone ever released like the worst songs of them? You know what I mean? Like I would
They
buy that.
should. That's a good point. It's kind of takes the pressure off. Like just write the worst song. Kind of weird. Weird Al kind of does that, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
just
kind of his thing.
yeah. But no, like I wanted to throw this because this is all going to connect in a way. But like last
Mhm.
night, I had a weird dream, and I think as humans we all have weird dreams. But like I dreamt how like because they have these things of like axe throwing, you know what I mean? Like these,
Yep, I've done that.
and
Yeah.
you have? Did you like
Mhm.
it? Was it
It's
fun?
fun. It's really empowering. I mean, you have to like, you let out a battle cry, and it's like your aim is better when you just really let her rip. It's very empowering. Super
Yeah.
fun.
I've
Yeah.
never done it. So I had a dream last night that I did it. And so like I woke up, I was like, is this a sign saying I should do it? Because like I believe in signs and
Yeah, me
walking
too.
around. I was walking around, it's like you should try axe throwing. So I saw like four signs of axe throwing and I was like, did I see
Really?
this? Yeah, I was like, did I see this because it's a
Whoa.
dream or it was really
I mean, I think either way, you know what you got to do.
yeah. I get I guess I brought this up to you because you did a couple episodes of 12 Monkeys and
I
it's kind of like
did.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it is that kind of like alternate universe where you're just this like professional axe thrower or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so yeah, so I wanted to ask you so like when you got the Umbrella Academy was that the role where you're like okay, you know, because when you go on, you know, you've done a couple episodes, you know, of 12 Monkeys and stuff. So you've
Mhm.
already had a start, but the umbrella was like, okay, well, did you think, okay, now I could actually make a living doing this and I don't need to worry for a job? Or like how'd your mind like set on that?
Um, I think definitely there was the there's always I think as humans we always have this idea of like when I get the thing I'll feel this way and it'll be like I've arrived. You know, like it was less like oh I'll never have to worry. It was more just you take the auditions as they come and as an actor you just like really love acting and want to get the next thing and you know, there was definitely the desire to sink my teeth into something and it had been, you know, a lot of auditions and feeling like, you know, nothing was sticking. And so for sure there was a sense of like, okay, this thing I've been wanting has finally come. But then when I got there and you know, you're on set and you're just it's just the work and you're showing up and you have still a lot of uncertainty and it didn't really like solve for the things I thought that it would solve for. So that it actually kicked off a lot of inner work, a lot of spiritual self searching type of work because I really experienced firsthand how much it didn't really do a whole lot for like my relationship with myself. You know, it's still a job, it's still an amazing opportunity, but you're still with yourself in a way where you have to kind of like look within.
Yeah, I find that so fascinating because people think like, you know, when you're on a hit TV show, it's a
Hmm.
life changer, but like
Hmm.
you kind of just said it really isn't. It's just kind of
Hmm.
like, it's just
No,
like, yeah.
just you know, day it's just the moment, right? It's like it's the brain does these fascinating things where it perceives as like if I get this thing I'll feel this way or I'll you know I'll if I can only make it to that job or that relationship or that and it really is just your whole life goes by without really a whole lot of joy when we think that way so it definitely showed me that getting the dream job certainly did not bring me any more peace or confidence or self-love than I had had before I got the call.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
See, like I always feel because like I not to brag, Jordan, but I'm also a celebrity myself, and I've done three terrible movies, and
Ah,
like these are the
I've
worst
done terrible
movies.
movies as well. Yeah, I hear you.
Jordan, my movies are way worse. I'm telling you,
Uh,
they're so bad where like I promote them just to be funny. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like
I love that. I love that. It fits very well within your stand-up comedy. It's great.
so I remember when I did these, you know, I'm thinking, oh, this is not gonna be a life changer, right? And it turns out I was right, you know what I mean? But but I went on this one audition when I was a kid. It was for like a really big movie, and this is like the furthest I've ever gone for like a huge movie, and they made me do a chemistry test.
Hmm.
And so it was like between me and like four other people. And I thought I read pretty good. But then
Hmm.
when I had to like kiss the girl because I was auditioning for the love interest or whatever, I felt like maybe I was a bad kisser or whatever, so I didn't get it. But then I kept wondering, what if I did? Would that have changed my entire career? And then
Ah,
and then you watch the movie and the guy who got it, he's literally done nothing since.
yeah. Yeah.
So
It's funny how that works because there have been so many times where I've been like, man, I would have killed for that role, or this would have been like, this is exactly the kind of role I want to be doing. And then, sometimes do my little follow-ups, like, I wonder where this one went, or I wonder who got, and sometimes they're not even made. Sometimes it really doesn't turn out to be, on the page, it's this incredible story and it just doesn't translate. Sometimes, like, you really just don't. Our mind thinks it knows everything, but it doesn't have all the information, and it is such a practice in surrender and like just kind of letting things go and not worrying, not looking back too much, not worrying too much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One of the things I found fascinating about you is because you did a short which you wrote, and I tried to find it, but I couldn't. But it looks very interesting because the cab driver's your ex-boyfriend. And I
Hmm.
thought that that's a pretty cool,
Well,
unique
it
idea.
happened. That
Oh,
happened. Yeah, the my Uber driver, it was cinematic. It was one of those moments where you're like, how stranger than fiction. I ordered an
yeah.
Uber. It was pouring rain in Toronto. The streetcars weren't coming. There was zero Ubers. It was literally like no Ubers available in this area, and then one pops up. And I ordered it, and it's my
Oh
ex-boyfriend.
my gosh.
Oh, here we go, and
Yeah.
it was incredibly awkward. And I got home and it was like, yeah, I gotta write, I gotta write something about this. Yeah.
That's so awesome though. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because that's a great
Yeah. Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Oh,
And a friend of mine directed it. And I mean, that was my first taste of saying words that I had written, or getting to be involved in the production side of things. And it was a lot of fun. It was really satisfying and also very vulnerable, experiencing, showing more of your heart, or sort of not necessarily knowing, like, is this strong? Is it not? You're too close to it almost sometimes. So that was
yeah.
a cool experience. That was my first time getting to be on that side of it.
Now, do you have like a secret vault of like do you have a copy of this film? Because like I
Yeah,
said,
I
I
can, I
couldn't
can
find
send
it.
it. I'll send it to you. I'm not like intentionally hiding it from the world. I guess
Oh,
I
okay.
just need to, I should just throw it on YouTube or something. I just don't, I forgot about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I'll
that.
send it your way.
Oh, that would be so. I would love to watch it because
Yeah,
I find like that's the sad thing about shorts is because you never know unless it's in the festivals, you've never seen them. You know what I mean? And
true. Yeah,
some of them have
yeah.
great potential.
I know, you're right. Certain things just don't necessarily hit. It's sort of, even like, it makes me think of totally different example, but like, I didn't find Schitt's Creek until it won all those Emmys and had been around for
Yeah.
years. And I think a lot of people found it at that time, or certain shows get on Netflix and all of a sudden they have this resurgence. So it's interesting how timing, like even Arrested Development was like very ahead of its time. And I'm in no way comparing my short film to any of these
Oh,
projects.
I'm definitely
Does
comparing
not
it,
compare,
Jordan.
I assure you. But it is interesting how timing, and it's fascinating.
Okay, yeah. So send that to me. I'm
I
gonna hold you to
will.
that
Yeah, I will.
because and so I gotta ask you this when if you don't want to talk about it, you could like just say pass. But when you
Yeah.
saw it was your ex-boyfriend, were you just like, ah?
Yeah, yeah. I like to throw myself in at the deep end. I've always sort of like liked a little bit of like, let's see what happens here. I considered for a second, I was like, do I cancel? Because their little photo pops up, and immediately I was
Oh,
like,
this was a time when the photo was here.
oh yeah, I think there
Oh,
is there not still photos? I feel like there's still photos. Isn't there not?
when Uber first started, they didn't have photos. It just had a name.
Oh no, it had a photo. I knew, but he couldn't see my photo. So I was like, oh, he
Oh,
has
okay.
no idea that he's about to pick me up. And so it was this moment of like, this is my responsibility to decide whether or not we follow through on this.
Right.
And I was like, screw it. Let's just see what happens. This is going to be a funny story. It was incredibly awkward. Yeah, but I'm glad I did it. It was one of those moments where you're just like, let's just see how uncomfortable I can make myself.
Right. Yeah, do you mind if I ask you, did you play this whole like did you play the card like I'm just gonna pretend like it's not him or how
Oh
like
no, no. You can't do that. I mean, it's not like it was like at this point I think I was 25. I don't know. I was 20. I think I was like, yeah, I was 24, 25, and we had dated like a couple years prior. It's not like it's not like 20 years had gone by and I could be like, Bob, is that, it was
Uh,
very much like, how's it going? And he just acknowledged the awkwardness. He was like, get in the front, which is, what happens in the short film. And then he like didn't want to charge me. And I'm like, no, 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 I should pay because this is like a service and then he's like, I'm just doing this part-time because I'm starting a business. And I'm like, you don't have to explain yourself to me. Like it was so awkward on all sides,
yeah.
both of us. Thankfully, not a very long trip. But yeah, it was worth a short film, I thought.
No, that's great. Oh man, that's so crazy. I had an awkward experience
Mhm.
running into, I mean, I don't know if it was an ex because it was like a date or whatever,
Okay,
but
yeah.
it's always awkward because like,
Mhm.
if you don't talk about how you're feeling or if you want to move forward, it's kind of like when people ghost it. So then,
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
you're like,
The ambiguity. I know dating is really tough for that. I think now more than ever, it's a really strange time. I mean, like with the online dating and people, I think it's sort of normalized to ghost now. And it's like, that's never really sat well with me because I'd rather have a direct, awkward conversation and free someone from the wondering. Because I certainly would have. I had a guy once, we went on a date. And at the end of the day, it was a good date. It was fun. We had a good time, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I've met my soulmate. But it was still good. It was like, oh, I'd see him again. And then the next day, he called and was like, hey, I had a great time, but I wanted to let you know, like for me, it wasn't like a perfect match, so I'm not gonna be pursuing another date. And I was like, of course, first you're like, how dare you, your ego.
yeah,
But then I was like, thank you so much for the honesty. And he said, yeah, I had someone do the same thing when I wanted to date, and I really appreciated it. And that really blew my mind, like just the possibility of us being willing to
yeah.
feel uncomfortable emotions to just give someone the dignity of communicating directly. I'm a big fan of that personally.
Well, me too, because like I have this thing called Asperger's syndrome, so like I don't
Mhm.
see social cues very well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like it's very like, uh like dating someone like me is just kind of tough because I don't see stuff. So like after I'm just like, hey, you could just let me know if you had fun or whatever instead of like making
Yeah.
my mind
Yeah.
wander,
To try to, that's amazing that you have that self-awareness though, because I think we all have our blind spots and our, like we all have our things. And the fact that you're able to just communicate, like, here's my need and here's, how I'm wired, I think is huge. Most people don't have that. Like Asperger's or not. I think
Yeah.
that's a huge superpower that you have that self-awareness.
Well, I think I became like more like aware for it, because when I was diagnosed when I was 13, I've gone on like dates before, but I remember
Yeah.
this one. I went to homecoming and like this is gonna make me sound kind of creepy or whatever, but the girl said I was creepy. And that
Oh,
just kind of like hurt me because I
yeah,
didn't
that's
know
not a
what
nice thing to hear.
yeah, but and when you're in high school, I didn't know what was going on, so like now whenever I date, I'm just like, hey, just I don't
Yeah.
want to say hey, you just say hey, I didn't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I think that's beautiful. I think that's really, really like setting yourself up for success to let people know, because we all have our insecurities and everyone's got their past, and it sounds like that girl just like she was misreading the situation. I think we misread things all the time. So I think the more we can just level with people, it just does everybody a favor, and then we can be vulnerable and we don't need to try to play cool. I'm just so not about playing it cool. I'm not
Yeah.
very cool. I'm very, dorky, and like I just am such a huge fan of like laying it out on the table and dating.
Oh yeah. You want to
Yeah.
hear the worst part about this creepy girl thing?
Hmm.
Who she ended up being my Uber driver.
Bringing it back. Very nice.
Yeah. Jordan, you're on the site that us famous people are on called Cameo, and I wanted to ask you,
I
what
thought
is
you were
the
gonna say wiki feet. I was gonna be like, yes, I am.
I don't know about that, but
4.0.
I wanted to ask you, what is the craziest Cameo request you've ever gotten, and did you do it?
Ooh, yeah, no, I definitely have had some creepy ones that I've declined. Oh man, I probably blocked them out. There's been like some weird role play ones, like I think just because I obviously play a mom on Umbrella Academy. Like there is a lot of people that are all about the feet, like those types of requests. They're few
Yeah.
and far between, thankfully. Most of the requests are really sweet, and I love the opportunity to connect with people. But Yeah, there have been, I mean, more or people like wanting me to just like do like a bit of like a promo for their like rap album or something. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, nice try, nice try, Yeah, I think there have been a couple really creepy ones. Trying to think. I've been on it for a number of years, and over the years there have for sure been a few where I'm like, no, thank you.
Well, it's like the craziest one. Like one of the
Craziest one.
craziest one I got is I had to break up with I
Mm.
had a girl booked me to break up with her boyfriend. And
Oh, that is so not okay.
oh yeah, I mean, I didn't know how to do
Man.
it, you know what I mean? I was like,
No, of course you don't. You don't know these people. That's not your job. That's
yeah,
insane.
but I desperately need the $20. So I was like, oh,
Oh my God, you're
I was like, hey Brian, Ashley, your girlfriend of 5 years wanted me to let you know, wanted me to let you know that she's kind of over you because Brian, I'm just gonna be honest. I hooked up with her at a comedy show, and once you go,
oh my
Keith.
God. I mean, I think it would have to turn into a, hey, Brian, gotta let you know your girlfriend sucks. Because anyone that would hire a cameo to break up with you is not a nice person. So get the hell out of there. That's how I would phrase it. I'd be like, I would have to throw her under the bus. I'd be like,
But what if it was a big celebrity? You know what I mean? Like that would be like that's kind of classy. You know what I mean?
no, no, that's traumatizing is what that is. I mean, that's now every time that person turns on a movie, it's like now they're immediately taken back to their worst. Gosh, I had a guy break up with me through his AOL or I remember ICQ, AOL, like MSN, all those messengers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He had like he put it in as his name, like his status.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
I was 13 years old, but it was like a bold 14, bold way to break up with someone. And I was like, hey, dude, like, you want to say it like a man? Like, of course, he wasn't man, but it was
Yeah.
hilarious. I mean, people chicken out in very mysterious ways. Um, yeah, there have been a few very, very wild ones. I mean, but most of the time, it's really sweet, honestly. I mean, I think more than anything, sometimes I feel like people in the past I've had to just boundaries where people like send regular ones where like it's like almost like we're gonna have like a relationship where it's back and forth, and that's where it feels a little tricky because I don't,
Right.
you never want it to feel, you want to be fair to people, and like it doesn't feel right to be charging people for more of that dialogue kind of thing versus just like a video, which is what it's designed for. So I'm giving you a very boring answer. There's definitely a
Oh,
crazy
it's a
one.
great
I'll give it
answer
some
though.
thought as we're chatting and see if I can conjure something up because there have been a few over the years, but I've just done like over 1,000 at this point, so I can't remember.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just think that that website is just so I don't know. I think it's very cool, but I think
Hmm.
that it's kind of outlived its purpose. Like I think it was really good when the pandemic first started.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like birthdays, a lot of like, trivia nights. I
Those
think
are fun. Yeah.
yeah, or like people like being like, "Hey, can you play along and like make fun of this person for, like pretend to be his." I got one recently, like pretend to be his mom and like make fun of him for like playing too many video games and you're just kind of like role playing someone's mom. Like it's that kind of thing where I'm always like, or even like stuff in character is kind of tricky because I'm like it's been years since I've played Grace at this point. I'm like, how do I, I can tap back into it, but it's like improvising in that as your mom telling you not to. So sometimes I feel a little bit like bad for charging people. I'm like, I don't think this is worth worth
Yeah.
me.
That's very interesting what you said because it's been a while since you played Grace. Like
Yeah.
when you watch it on the TV, do you like kind of remember like the choices you made or
Oh
do
yeah.
you Oh, really?
I remember the choices. It's always a little weird looking back because you're like, I would make different choices as the actor and person I am now. Or I remember on that day, during the pandemic was really tough because like it was very stiff. It was like I remember I had a big scene and they just like we had these shorter days because of the rules during the pandemic. And so we had 2 units and they pulled the other actor right before my coverage. And they were like, "Who wants to read with Jordan?" And it's like, okay, the first AD wearing his face mask and his baseball cap and his face shield is just reading the lines. And I'm trying to like, pretend that it's still the actor. And I gave him for his coverage. It's so there's a lot of that where I remember being like, oh man, that day was really tough for this reason, or I had so much fun shooting that scene because of that. Like I think
Yeah.
it takes you back for sure.
That's so crazy, man. Like, because like I said, the three very terrible movies I did when I rewatch them just for funny, I don't
Mhm,
even
mhm.
remember doing it.
Well, but it sounds like you were a lot younger too,
Yeah, but I
right?
also yeah, but but like for example, like there's a big Hollywood star in one of these movies, and
Hmm.
I've never met him, and they like had like a
Hmm.
cut action, like I was having a conversation with them like this, but I've
Hmm.
never met him. So like everyone's like, oh,
Oh,
what was it like working with Jake Busey? It's like I've never
yeah.
fucking met the guy.
I know it's a bit strange, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
those types of things are like, and those are the things that are tough as an actor because ultimately, as the audience, you don't know the context, nor does it really matter. Like you're not meant to, but it's still your job as the actor to not let the things like that are really distracting affect your performance.
yeah,
Which is can be really challenging on the day. You're like, I am shooting this scene where I'm supposed to be drunk and it's 5 in the morning and I'm like not really awake yet. I'm meant to be really, it's like you have to just bring it and find a way to still like acknowledge and not sort of dismiss the realities of you as the human, but use it in a way where you still give a performance that years later and it continues to live on. You feel like it represents the story for the audience.
yeah. So as an actress, if I had a scene for you that says, "Hey, you have to be drunk at 5 a.m.," how would you pull that off? Like,
I just did one like a month ago. That's what made it come to mind. I mean, I think you just have to do like 4 or 5 shots before. No, I'm kidding.
oh yeah, I was gonna say start drinking at
No, I
4,
mean
right?
tempting. No, I think it's just sort of like you do the warm ups and I think just sort of think bringing that into the reality of it. It's like, okay, this is going to be part of the experience that day. Like this could get in my way. So how do I not let it? And do the warm ups so that my face is awake and relaxed. Cause obviously, when you're drunk, you're super relaxed. And I think that's where like your techniques can support you. But also just not, I think I used to, when I was younger, I would just try to deny that I was nervous or deny that I was anxious or deny that I hadn't had a good night's sleep, like just sort of to push that away out of fear. But instead, I think when you use it, these can be gifts that as an actor, you like let go of the control a little bit and like trust that on the day you're given what you need to do a good job. And it's just releasing the attachment to it being the way you want it to be.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you kind of touched on this a little, but like, actors like back, when we were growing up, like I'm a huge John Cusack fan, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
same. Yeah.
So like, not to brag, Jordan, but he's my best friend.
Oh,
Anyway,
wow. What
yeah,
an honor. I mean,
yeah,
tell them I say, hey, well done,
yeah, I'm gonna say,
Your
yeah,
service.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell him that. But but like you think and you watch these movies like from the 70s and the 80s and you think, hey, did these actors have like anxiety or whatever when they were doing it? Because what if it
Yeah.
was just a scene or now they're the star? And
Yeah.
then we work it out like, for you, like, like do you how because now mental health is such now known, like did you have
Right.
anxiety when you're like doing this? And then when you're becoming the star like on the field,
Mhm.
you're the main person, you know what I mean?
Totally. And I think, I mean, I remember it was so permission giving. I remember a long time ago, like whether it was a I can't remember. Kate Blanchett was talking about how she gets nervous before most of her roles, or all, I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but it was it was such a relief to know that we don't have to beat ourselves up for like, it's how much you care. It's
Yeah.
really just a sign of how much you care. And I think in the recent years, it's interesting because, when I started the Umbrella Academy, I was 27 years old. I'm 36 now. Like that's almost 10 years ago that this project came into my life. And I really didn't know myself the way I know myself now. I didn't have the same level of intimacy with myself. I really struggled not to define myself by my career, by being an actor. And now I just feel like I love acting. I want to do it till the day I die, but I also don't, if it did go away for some reason, like I don't feel that it is like my worth. And so now my performances, like when I show up on set, of course there's days I'm nervous because I want to do a good job for the scene, but I don't have the same type of anxiety I used to because I'm not worried about like disappointing people or like something going away that like if it left I would no longer have value. So I think the inner work has really served me as an actor because it's allowed me to relax and have more fun. And then
Yeah.
the nerves are my friend because they're not like nerves as a result of me not being at peace with myself and like the perfectionism. They're just nerves because I want to do a good job and it's like excitement.
Yeah. So, oh my God, that's so crazy. But like, so like I'm sorry, you might have to re-answer that just a little. But
No,
like
that's okay.
for the when you did escape the field because you're like the
Mhm.
main star, like did you think, oh my God, this whole movie is relying on me? Or like did you think, why can't fucking Shane West have this anxiety? You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
how
yeah, it's so funny that you brought up Shane West because he was cool to watch because obviously he's been doing this a long time and he became a friend and it was cool to see him and the way that he would approach and it was very much an ensemble project. Like it was, yeah, I'm in the first scene and the last. Like it's sort of through the audience is living my journey, but it's very much all of us in this situation together. So it felt more like an ensemble. Like I never really felt like I was out to dry. I had a lot of support from my amazing co-stars.
yeah.
But watching, I always at that point was quite like superstitious. It felt like if I have a heavy scene, I have to just like live there. I have to just like be off in a corner and listening to I make a playlist for every character. It was like I have to just like separate myself and be in that heavy energy the whole day. And it just felt like this hyper controlled experience. And then I watched him and he would have this emotional scene and he'd be like making jokes right before and he'd be, asking for gum and like laughing about something and like really present with us. And then we'd start the scene and he would just take the moment before and get into it. And it really, even like Theo Rossi was the same. I was like, oh God, I didn't meditate this morning, and at that point it felt like I have to do everything just right in order for me to do the job that I want to do. And he was like, so what? You're good. Just do the work, and so they really helped me. They really mentored me in a lot of ways. They became really good friends, but it was such a lesson in like I have what I need within me and I don't have to put the pressure on myself to do it right. I just do the work to prepare the material and the character and then trust that it's in me. And the more that you throttle something, the less accessible it is anyway. So it's
Yeah.
kind of the catch 22. It's like, how do you like relax your way into relaxing when you're not relaxed? It's like you really have to I think, do the work to trust yourself.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Mm.
I wanted to ask you, did you do your own stunts in this film? And if so, did you get hurt on any of them or no?
I had an amazing stunt double for sure.
Oh, that's
But
great.
yeah, it's always great when you have a stunt double. I love stunts. I love a challenge. So anytime there are stunts, I'm like, let me do it. And then I sort of realized like there was a time on a later project where I like tweaked my back and I was like, okay, not only are these stunt performers like here because they are incredible at what they do and they can make me look so much cooler, but also like get off your high horse. Like you're not doing anyone any favors if you have like whiplash or like a tweaked back where you're
Yeah.
not able to like do your best work. So I definitely was grateful I had her, but I did do a lot of the stunts and it's funny because, they kept saying like don't dig there's a scene where I'm dragged backwards. Like, don't dig your fingers into you don't hurt yourself. Like, you don't have to do 1,000%. And I still was like, no, I gotta do 1,000%. And I remember I like dug my hands.
Shane West said I have to
Oh
do a
my God.
thousand.
Yeah. Well, no, as Jordan says, you have to do 1,000%. I remember looking down at my hands after and I was like, oh, like I was like, they were bleeding.
Oh
My nails
my
were
God.
broken. I had so much dirt under and I was just like, I went home for the weekend and I was like, okay, you gotta chill. Like you don't have to like be a martyr. I think sometimes you feel as an actor when you're younger, especially, it's like, I have to really suffer. And, it's just, trusting the work and not feeling like you need to like overcompensate for anything.
Oh my God.
But I love
How
stuff. Yeah.
how cool would it be if that day when you filmed that scene was the day you got the Uber from your ex-boyfriend? And he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, just
Yeah.
hanging out now."
Yeah. I'm like, don't mess with me. Yeah. Yeah. You just look the other way. Don't make eye contact with the dirty hands.
Huh. I wanted to ask you about Dead Man's Wire because that just came out, and
Mm,
I actually tried to get you on this while you were promoting that,
cool.
and I wanted to ask you because you this film's actually very unique because you also helped produce it, and I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
like how is that as an actress because you're also in, but you're also the boss lady. Like how did your mind go through both? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking how to answer the question best. I mean, I think in that particular case, I came on later in the process. I'm an executive producer on that. I wasn't one of the like core producing team that's, my where I would love to get to is creative producing alongside the acting. I think they work really well and go very hand in hand. I started to find myself more and more on set as an actor, wishing that I had the opportunity to be more involved in, the script notes or the character development or some of the decisions around like the creative choices. And just it's more satisfying, I think, to get to be there from day one to till the end. And as an actor, you don't really have that context or that awareness or even that appreciation for like all of the work that has led to the moment that even as an actor you're walking onto a set. So I had the desire for a while, the curiosity for a while. That was one that, we came in towards the end in terms of like putting the project together. That project had been, gone through many iterations over the years before it even came to us. And it was really cool. I got to act in it as well. There was I could not pass up an opportunity to do a cameo, no matter how small. I was like, I'm in. I want to act with Bill. I want to be directed by Gus. Like it was an amazing day on set as an actor, and then getting to come to set many other days and just watch the great people do what they do best. So I think, it was interesting. I had done a project, a friend's project. I was on the producing side before that and also acted in that. And so I've been spending more time on sets, not as an actor, and kind of observing from the outside. And it's interesting. It's a very different experience, a completely different experience when you're not
Really?
one of the actors versus on the producing side. And producing means a million different things, obviously. I acting is a great passion for me. I do really find it satisfying to use my brain in all of the other ways that is required for producing. And ideally, I want to just continue to do both and get to bring stories that I love to life. And I'm happy to be supportive in whatever ways are necessary, whether it is the acting or whether it's like purely just on the producing side.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I should try producing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really satisfying thing. I mean, it's teamwork, it's problem solving, it's, shared vision. It's like I think when there's no ego involved and everybody really is of service to the story and to bringing it to life and to seeing it through, it can be like the most sacred thing. It's really a miracle when
Yeah.
you look at everything that leads to a film being released. It really is miraculous and it's so collaborative and it's so inspiring to me. And I just have such an appreciation now for every single person when I walk onto a set as an actor. I just did a project that wrapped, we did December, January shoot. And like when I wrapped that, I just looked back and was like, this was so cool to be on a set just as an actor, but to have an understanding of everything that led to this moment and like, all of the hard work that producers do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really such an act of service.
That's the thing I feel. I mean, you kind of make it seem like you kind of learn that once you start producing, but I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of actors don't really realize how hard producing or writing or even directing something really is, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to. It's really hard to get that side because we have it's hard. It's obviously like hard to be an actor. I mean, we go to dark places within ourselves and we have to push our bodies past what's comfortable and the conditions are not always ideal and there's a lot of challenges with that, but it is easier in the sense that you really are taken care of and you walk in when everything else has been handled and you do your work and then sayonara and you leave and then you wait and see what happens. But that always I struggled with that because I found it hard to pour my heart into a character and to not be able to see it through or be a part of like the decision making or even like you see the edit and you're like there were scenes cut from Escape the Field where I was like man, that scene for me as an actor when I was building the arc of the character, that was the scene where she becomes more animalistic, and she sort of, her transformation is complete, and she stops like running from what she's afraid of, and she starts to really fight back. And it was like that was the scene they cut because, they didn't like how it was shot, or the it was a decision, made by the higher ups, because they felt like it was a hat on a hat because they liked this other moment. They're not necessarily creative decisions, or maybe people aren't aligned. And it was just, I found it really hard to, I care so deeply. And when I would see the final cut, it was like, man, I really wish that that had stayed in, and I would have fought for that to stay in, because this is what we lost. And actually this character's justification was lost, and now you've lost the heart of the story. And maybe it's more exciting and fast paced, but it isn't as impactful on a character level. And the way I think is, I'm quite analytical, but I'm also very emotional. And I just started to care so deeply that it became quite painful for me to not really get to use that part of myself in storytelling, and just sort of like waltz off and, like leave it up to other
I t
people.
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
I got cut out of this thing, and like, I watched it and I was like, it's a good thing they cut me out because I'm the worst actor in the world. But I have it on on my reel, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they should have left that in because I say some ridiculous cool shit. Like that has nothing
Yeah.
to do with anything.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, right? Is like we're also so close to it. And it's like there is a trust necessary. And like sometimes it's that whole kill your darlings thing. Like sometimes we are too close to it, or like we wanted to stay in because it felt like it added. But then when someone is able to look at it from bird's eye view, it didn't serve the story. And so I think that's where the collaboration is so important. And that's why like I love writing with partners. I don't love writing as much on my own. I love to bounce stuff off of people. And I think that's where it does get exciting, because it can be like this shared inspiration rather than just like
yeah.
vacuum. And that's where we have to, we fight like hell for the things we believe in, but we also don't have an ego about it, and we like trust other people. And it's always this negotiation. And that's what makes filmmaking so fascinating to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jordan, I want to respect your time. Do we have 10 more minutes? Because I have
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I have so many more
Yeah,
questions.
let's do it. Yeah, no, I'm good. I've got time.
Oh, okay, cool. I wanted to ask you, I can't read my own, right? Oh yeah. Oh no, I wanted to ask you this because like when when you're a little girl or whatever, and you tell
Mhm.
your parents, "Ooh, I want to be an actor or a
Mhm.
singer or something," I feel everyone. This is gonna be weird, but I feel like everyone wants to be famous, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when they are famous, because not to brag, Jordan, I mean I'm not as famous as you, but I'm also famous. And so like you look back, and do you think like maybe you kind of wish you didn't want the fame of that you just wanted to do this? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. I never really had given a lot of thought to fame. I mean, I'm from Bermuda. I'm
Yeah.
from a very small, it's essentially a very small town, 60,000 people on a very small island. I'm there right now visiting my family, and it's,
Childhood home right there.
yeah, here I
Yeah.
am. She's right. Yeah, I'm like, take it all in. Yeah. I didn't really even, I wasn't even aware of the fame piece of it. In fact, I think like growing up, it was like I was obsessed with writing. I wanted to be an author. I was, super creative. I was obsessed with music. Like I was writing plays for my class to perform. I remember, you being in comedy. I remember writing a play in fifth grade that my class performed, and I just made fun of all the teachers. And I remember the laughter that I got from the school. I was like, this is the best. Like I just loved the impact that, being on stage. I made my mom's friend cry during like a performance of Leader of the Pack. And there were all these moments where I just felt my impact. And so it was more, I think, just um the love of seeing how performance and story and music and acting could really like land with people and really affect people. And that's what really drove me. I didn't really think about the fame piece, and then film and TV. It was like, oh wait, I can do this as a job. Like it hadn't even crossed my mind until I was like 17, 18, and left the island to get an education, like to get my university education. And so I think like the fame thing is still something that I'm kind of, I mean, I definitely I don't feel that I'm famous. I mean, my role on Umbrella Academy is like so abstract. Like people very rarely even, when they find out I'm in it, they're always kind of shocked because I don't speak the way, I don't look the way I do on the show. I don't, it's a whole
Yeah.
world that they built. And it's not like Robert Sheehan, who, he's this hilarious, quirky human who looks a lot like his character, where I'd be standing next to him and people would be like flocking to him and they wouldn't even realize that I was in the show. I would just kind of like be laughing to the side watching it go down. When we were filming in Toronto, it would be like me and the rest of the cast, and people would never clock that I was in it. And so it was interesting because I felt like fame adjacent a lot. But so it's, I've had sort of the vantage point of getting to examine it without having it take away my anonymity or my experience of life. And I have friends that get recognized everywhere they go, and I see like it actually starts. You do sacrifice a lot of your day-to-day freedom, and I think it's just a byproduct of getting to do, in my opinion, like one of the most incredible jobs there is. Like I'm so grateful, and I'm by no means where I want to be, but I'm incredibly grateful for what's come and what I'm building. And I think you sort of just, I don't really understand the like rejection of it. I know a lot of, I understand it's a tough thing um to wrap your head around, and I'm at that, not at that level yet, so I have compassion for how hard that is. But I think it's also, it just comes with the territory of like being in people's homes and representing like things that really resonate with people and matter to people. And as
Yeah.
annoying as it is, as much as it can steal away like the moment for people at that level, I think it's also a gift in the sense that, and that you matter, and that you have given people something that matters to them. And when we watch a movie, like we cry because it makes us examine our own life, or it reaches something within us that it really really matters, or helps us heal. And that's a gift. And so yeah, I mean, it's all of it. It's there's downsides, there's incredible upsides. It's an opportunity, and it's also a sacrifice. So I think it's just the complexity of being human. It's just a very unique human experience.
The cool thing though about being famous, like let's not lie, is we could go to the VIP table whenever we want. You know what I mean? Like that is a cool little perk. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but I think like no, I totally agree with you because like I don't mean to slam my fellow actors and comedians,
Mhm.
but this is a compliment in a weird way. My favorite form of celebrity is the people that know they're celebrities, but they don't want to be celebrities. Like John Cusack, for example. He's the
Yeah,
biggest movie star in the world, but he doesn't give a fuck about being
yeah,
a
because he's
movie
not
star.
doing it to be he's not, that's not what it's about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just is it just is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the whole fame thing is like, because I asked someone what they want to do when they grow up and they're like, "Oh, I want to be famous." And like, not to brag, Jordan, I'm also famous. And it's like, do you really want to read terrible things about you? Like I Google me and it says I have
Yeah.
a very annoying voice. So it's like, do you really want something that
Yeah,
it's like,
I think it's really I think that unfortunately, like fame, the concept of fame represents a lot of things for people that they think will, kind of back to what we were saying at the beginning of like,
yeah.
when I get this, I'll feel happy, I'll feel enough, I'll feel joyful, I'll feel like I've arrived, I'll feel like I matter, I'll feel like I have legacy. I think fame represents for a lot of people that enoughness and that peace that we all are seeking. We all want to feel seen. We all want to feel like we matter. We all are craving purpose. That's our, I think, why we're here as humans. And I think people get it really mixed up. They think that that is what it'll give them. And it's, I think Jim Carrey was the one who said, like, I hope everyone gets to be famous or gets where they want to go, to see that it won't give that to them. And it's so true. It's really unfortunate, because I think, anyone that is in pursuit of that will see that it's actually pretty empty. And I think it actually, like the people who are the most famous, it's a pretty lonely, unique experience that not a lot of people get. And really it's just about like self-acceptance and self-love. And like when you don't, when you don't need the thing, in order to
Yeah.
feel okay. You stop chasing it. And then the thing can, it's like that butterfly, like happiness is a butterfly. It's like the thing can come land on you, but if you're chasing it for the validation, you're never going to get it because it is, especially fame. Like I talk about the most invalidating thing there is, like you said,
Yeah.
for every fan, there's someone who wants to see you fail. It's like, it's just, you can't concern I just, that the longer I do this, the more I learn the John Cusack thing. It's like, yeah, celebrity is what it is, but it's like life is just, it's this fleeting, beautiful thing. And you can't even like just give that too much thought. It just is not what it's about.
Yeah. Well, I think we could both say the best career decision you made, Jordan, was doing my podcast.
I agree. This has been the pinnacle. If I die tomorrow, I can die happy. I made it. Thank you.
Yeah. But like I wanted to ask you, like, as an actress today, when you're filming
Mhm.
stuff from like when you were acting when you first started, like we kind of talked about the anxiety and stuff, but did you ever have fears and do you still have fears? Like what if you forget a line or forget something that's very important? Like how does your
Mhm.
mind transition to that with your fear?
Yeah, I think when you start out, it is those things like the forgetting the line or like not looking good on camera or doing a bad job and getting fired. Like, those are all the
Have you
things.
ever been fired?
No, no, I've never been
Oh,
fired. I have been cut. I have been cut from a movie, but I know I did a good, it was a Hallmark and it was like my character, it was too long. I was told it was too long and that I was in like five scenes and I was sort of the other woman and I just think it was like when they watched it, it didn't add and it sort of I think probably didn't make the guy look very good because you're supposed to be sympathizing for him and he's essentially cheating on me. So there were many reasons I think I was cut, but even with that, I mean, I booked a role once in Handmaid's Tale in the beginning, and then the next draft, like they were like, we had to trim it down, and that character isn't in this new draft, and so sorry. So there have been things along the way where, it goes away. But I think it's just I think the biggest difference is that in the beginning you're so vulnerable. It's so vulnerable to put yourself out there and you're so afraid you're not good enough. And so everything you're kind of just scanning the horizon for evidence of like I'm gonna get fired or I'm gonna be like my worst fear is gonna be confirmed. And
yeah.
now I sort of like again because I feel like I have that self-acceptance and I know who I am and I've been through enough in my life that I know I can handle anything. I'm not really I don't like give those thoughts. I don't let myself go there. I focus on empowering myself with, like the preparation and connecting with people and like having more fun. And so I think now of course I'm human, like those things come up, but I think now it becomes more I trust that the lines will come. I know that I will do a decent job. Like that's my baseline. And so it's like, okay, how can I really do the type of acting I'm proud of and like really find things within myself that feel feel courageous and like let go of control. And that's the type of acting I want to be doing is the type where I'm like really truly surprising myself and I'm like really like giving everything I've got to the other actors. So I think now I feel a lot more surrendered and a lot more like I want to play and more curious and more just a lot more present, which,
Yeah.
I think anxiety makes it hard to be present. And so it's just been really the relationship with the anxiety changing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, my biggest fear is kissing scenes. And when I went
Fair.
to that screen test, like I knew like I'd probably have to kiss, because at the time this was like the biggest teen star in the world. And
Oh, that's so nerve-wracking.
yeah.
What a scary thing to do. I mean, that's totally valid.
Yeah. And then like, with my Asperger's, like kissing is a very like I get attached. So like I
Mhm.
wasn't prepared to like not, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it
So
meant something. Yeah.
no, it didn't mean anything to her.
No, no. But I meant to you though. But to you
Oh
though,
yeah, yeah.
you know yourself, and you were cautious not to make it more difficult for yourself.
But like I think because when you're starting as a child, they don't explain these things to you. And maybe the whole Me Too movement it's changed that, but I feel like with intimacy coordinators and
Yeah,
stuff.
I was gonna say that
Yeah.
I think has been the biggest change for the industry is before and after intimacy. Before intimacy coordinators, it is incredibly, I mean,
Yeah.
it still is kind of like a, strange aspect. It can be strange, and it's like that's where it's down to the trust. But having an intimacy coordinator, even just knowing that there's somebody whose job is just to like acknowledge that it's a whole other animal. I mean, I think it's just the humanness of it. And before we had intimacy coordinators, I mean, like that's just like a totally fair thing. I think everyone is nervous for that
Yeah.
type of thing and not
And,
wanting to look stupid.
and see, like that's the thing is like I find romantic comedies to be the best form of comedy.
I agree. I love romantic comedies.
And I want to do a romantic comedy, but I don't want to do a romantic comedy. Does that make sense? Where it's like
Yeah, it can be
yeah,
daunting. I mean, I think often we're drawn to the things that scare us, and that's why they're worth doing. But they require us to be really uncomfortable and to go to places that are scary. Yeah.
yeah. That's why like I like horror because like it's like I just want to die in a film or something because
Yeah.
you go to these horror cons, people love you for dying in a film. It's so
Yeah, and
weird.
horror is super fun to shoot too. I mean, I love horror comedy for that reason. I mean, I think it's all the tension and the release and I think it's just like it gets to be really fun. It's just playing, right? All of it's just playing pretend. When you really look at it, it's just really committing to playing pretend.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think it's just about trusting yourself and then it just becomes really fun.
Yeah. All right, Jordan, I got two more questions for you. I
Okay,
want to
let's do it.
respect your time, but I did want to say you should do some horror cons and stuff, because I think you would
Ah,
have so much fun doing those.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done Comic Cons before. More Umbrella Academy themed stuff. I haven't done any horror cons, so that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we should get you in Ontario, California.
Ah, Ontario,
Ah.
California. I've only been to Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, well,
Sweet.
California is not exactly the same as Canada.
Not quite.
But the thing is, if you do this one in Ontario, is I could be your personal assistant for free,
Wow.
and we could just hang out, do this while you sign autographs, and
Amazing.
I could tell you funny things to sign, like say, "Hey Jordan, on the next one, right? Don't do crack."
I mean, already you're gonna make me a better, autograph provider, a better
Exactly.
introduction for the fans. I mean, I need you in my corner. It's true.
All right, cool. We'll work this out.
Deal.
I got it. Um, So my second to last question is this has nothing to do with you, but I was watching like this weird documentary about the stranger wonders of the world and like
Mm.
all these pyramids and stuff. I wanted to ask you, Jordan, because the truth is we have no idea how these things were built and stuff, and I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, how do you think these things were made?
I so thought you were going to lead this question into a Bermuda Triangle question. I was ready for it.
Oh,
I
okay.
think these things are made. Man, that's I'm fascinated. First of all, I was obsessed with the pyramids and ancient Egypt growing up, and everyone that meets me asks me about the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, the great mysteries of life are mysteries for a reason. I don't know. I mean, wouldn't it be
Really?
amazing if I was like, I've been waiting for someone to ask me this question.
I
I
know.
actually do know. And it's time to share with the world. Are you ready? Um, I believe that there's a lot we don't know. I am very spiritual. I mean, I think there's a lot more out there than we're aware of. Alien stuff, like all of it, I'm open to anything. There's a lot as humans that I think we're not meant to know, or maybe we're not meant to know yet. Um, I mean, I believe in past lives. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that there's other life out there. I mean, so who the heck knows? But I definitely think that there are definitely things that indicate that there's life beyond what we're aware of as humans.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty arrogant anytime we think like we can draw a line in the sand and say this is absolutely correct. I think I love to learn and I love to not know. And I also find unsolved mysteries incredibly infuriating.
Oh,
So I'll
oh, I do too.
I'll completely contradict myself and say like the true crime, the unsolved mysteries, like those are the things that keep me up at night and like I ruminate about. But the bigger life questions, I'm always fascinated to like, ask for answers and see what happens. I feel like we're in a simulation a lot of the time. A lot of the time life feels like a video game. So
Oh, for
I
sure.
I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, yeah, I have this weird theory. Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so Jordan, so in like 5,000 years from today, right? You and
Okay.
I will still be famous, but we'll be dead. And all our children's children, like we'll have a big line of death. Okay.
Whoa. Yeah.
So just letting you know.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I
Yeah.
don't want to
Like
spoil this.
what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're all dead, like 30 generations of us are dead, right? So they come up with these things called time machines. Okay, Jordan, this is
I've
very
heard of
important.
I've heard of
Okay,
them. Yeah.
okay. And what they do with these time machines is they go back into the past, right? And they build all this shit, right? And then they
Mm,
go back to their future and they look in their crystal ball to today and they're
mm.
just laughing at us because we are fucking stupid.
Yeah, that checks out. That checks
Yeah.
out. Yeah. No, that resonates for sure. I think.
For sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's crazy because they're having the time of their lives up there, just thinking, look at these guys,
Look
and
at
they're,
these idiots.
I know,
Morons. All of
Uh,
them. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's so right there. They're making movies and TV shows about this shit, and they still don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I don't think you're wrong necessarily. I mean, I think they're definitely watching and I think they're probably amused by a lot of what's going on down here.
Oh, for sure. And I wanted to comment before my last question about the
Yeah.
unsolved mystery thing.
Huh?
That those scare me too because like when I watch that, like I actually love watching that stuff. But when
Me
I
too.
watch
Yeah.
it and I fall asleep, I think, "Oh my God, what if I wake up and the fucking runaway killer's in my bedroom going to choke me?"
Yeah.
Like
No, I
that.
do struggle. I have to draw lines with myself because I like the Golden State Killer stuff, like the book on the Golden State Killer. Oh God, I'll be there when you wake or what's the one? She had passed away and Oswald's wife. Anyway, she was like spearheaded catching this killer, and it was really amazing. Amazing journalism. Like it really goes to show she did not give up on this case. But that book, I'll Be There When You Wake, is that what it's called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but this
Oh
sounds
my
so
gosh.
fascinating.
Well, it's like it's the Golden State Killer, and they caught him. But when she
Oh
wrote the
yeah, they
book,
caught him like 3 years ago, right?
oh
Four
yeah,
years
through
ago?
through the
Yeah.
DNA, like the all the ancestry or 1 2 1 2 3 me or whatever. That book, I had to put it down because at the time I was like living alone and I was just like, nope, nope, this is like disturbing me at a level where like my brain, I dream actively. I have a very, very active imagination. Like I'm fascinated. I mean, we're all fascinated by that stuff. Like I have a psychology degree. I'm fascinated by serial killers. I'm fascinated by psychopathy and like nature versus nurture. All that stuff is so interesting. But you also have to be careful what you let into your mind because I think
Yeah.
it can take away your peace too. So it's a balance. Yeah.
Well, so like I write scripts and stuff, and here's what I
Mm,
like. I used to teach screenwriting, but here's what I learned
cool.
in storytelling, which I think is so fascinating, but also this is going to be the scariest thing you've ever heard,
Okay.
is there's no such thing as a secret. And I feel like that is just like mind blowing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
That's an
like,
interesting concept. Yeah.
yeah. I
Huh.
mean, think about it. Have you ever told someone a secret? You kind of told someone. You
It
know what I
makes it
mean?
no longer a secret. Yeah.
It,
It's a good point. I mean, and
and
that's kind of comforting in a way too, though, that just the idea that things have a way of coming out. Things have
yeah.
it might take a
S-
long time, but everything kind of comes out in the end.
So like the Golden State guy, like I don't
Hmm.
know. I
He
remember
lived a
reading about
wild
it,
life. Yeah.
but like he
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have told people he was still in Golden State.
Or maybe you just probably shouldn't have, murdered all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people
No,
back
no,
here.
no, no. He shouldn't have done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Everything else was fine, but if he just kept his damn mouth shut.
Okay, so Jordan, my last question for you is, we talked about time machines a little. If you could go into one of these time machines and talk to a younger
Mhm.
version of yourself,
Mhm.
knowing everything you know now, what advice would you tell yourself and why?
It's a really beautiful question. I love
Uh,
that question. I think I would go back to like 13, 14-year-old Jordan. And I would just kind of let her know that I mean, I felt very different growing up. Like I was like that super creative, artistic kid that like there weren't a lot of creative people in my year. I was the only one who took music at a higher level, literally the only one who chose that as an elective. I won all the creative writing awards and the art, it was very much my thing, but it was pretty lonely. I didn't really feel like anyone got me. I didn't have a lot of very close friends. I just kind of was friendly with everyone and I felt like, oh, there's something wrong with me and I need to change myself in order to belong. And I think I just go back to tell her, that these are all gifts and to really like lean into befriending herself and not feeling like she has to abandon herself to fit. Like it's feels like school's never going to end when you're younger and it's such a small part of our life. And often the people who are struggling the most in school, who don't feel like they fit, are the ones that go on to do incredible things. I have so many amazing friends now, like all the things I was like desperate for at that age that I thought I'd never have, I have now. And so I think I would just go back to give her permission to really lean into who she is and not like concern herself so much with fitting.
wow. Wow. I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say, Jordan, this is Jordan Claire Robbins from 2025. How are you? Uh, if Keith Reza asks you to do his podcast, say no.
They
I'm so
know.
glad you did not say that.
Well, that was my second answer. So thank God it was neck and neck, and I'm so happy I went with the one I did because that would have been really uncomfortable for you, embarrassing.
Well, my whole
Yeah,
career has been uncomfortable, Jordan. I think we know this.
but here you are. Well done.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Jordan, it was an honor to interview you. Hopefully I did a-okay.
you
And
did amazing. I had a blast. Thank you so much.
yeah, and I can't wait to actually do a movie with you or be your assistant at one of these Comic Cons so we could
All of it.
actually meet.
Amazing. I would be honored. I
Uh,
look forward to the day.
all
Thank you
right.
so much.
Well, where can the folks at home follow and support you? Instagram, Twitter, any of that?
Yeah, I'm just on Instagram these days. Jordan Claire Robbins, my full name. I need to get into the whole X thing. I'm not really on there. I'm hopeless at Twitter. I don't know. All of that feels
Oh yeah, it's X now, huh?
I can't keep up. I don't know. Apparently,
Yeah.
allegedly,
Yeah.
I can't keep up. But Instagram feels like that's where my bandwidth, it feels safe. So that's where you can find me. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Jordan Claire Robbins. Well, thank you so much. Have a
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
day, and thank you for letting me make you smile. So,
Thank you. Thanks for making me smile. I had a blast.
all right, Rifters. That was the episode. Subscribe, rate, review, tell your friends and your enemies, and we'll see you next week on Reza Rifts.